I am salivating thinking of them right now, looking at these pictures of these cookies. I want them right now.
Welcome to the Sunday Reset. I'm Jen.
And I'm Jill. And this week we are talking about financial goals, some easy meal plan ideas, and a way to budget that can help you analyze your spending better.
So let's get into this week's money move. Every Monday, we share a money move that you can do to organize or optimize your finances. And it's something that you can do in a week, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes over a few days. But it's something that is, whether you are starting out or very proficient with your personal finances, that you can do to stay on top of your money. And we share that at Weekly Money Move on Instagram and also in the friend letter, frugalfriendspodcast.com. You can sign up for the friend letter there and get the email every Monday. This week's money move was to pick one financial goal.
Just one, because we do better if we just focus on one thing at a time. We can be a lot more successful with it. So what was yours?
Okay, so my one financial goal right now is to budget for 3 months straight. I'm a little bit of an inconsistent budgeter.
Yeah, what does budgeting look like for you, Jen? Tell the people. Be vulnerable.
So this will be specifically a zero-based budget.
But what has it looked like for you in the past?
Mostly it's keeping tabs on my transactions. So I use Monarch. It is my favorite budgeting app. We'll link to it in the description and you can get a discount. But I use it. It has a good budgeting feature versus all the other ones are very much tracking. Or they will make the budget for you. And Monarch allows you to really easily customize your budget. So I have already for April, when we're recording this, I have done the budget, shared it with Travis, and we're on board with that.
Whoa. And any particular reason for this goal?
So we had a large cushion in our checking account, and that was for renovations. We bought our home 3 years ago now as a fixer-upper to renovate. We've renovated it for 2 years. It's like 90% done now. But we just had windows put in. And we had to pay up front, and then we'll get reimbursed a little bit by the state. So we are literally, that was kind of the last thing to do. And we are back down to a normal amount of money in our checking and savings. And for me, that's like, so we have our emergency fund in a separate account. So I know we have money, but like, I don't see it. So I'm like, okay, we need to dial in now. We have not been outspending what we're earning, but I want to be intentional about it for 3 months, retrain some of my habits. So that's really the overarching goal. That is the one goal that by doing it makes the other goals easier or unnecessary. So by doing this budget, it just happened at a time where some of one of our expenses went down. And so I was able to identify, actually, I want to put that extra money towards some giving and then also increase our investing.
Yeah. Ooh, is that going to happen? Whoa.
Yeah,
exciting.
just a little bit and everything, but a little bit is better than, what we were doing before.
Not any little bits.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine was to increase retirement investing, which is so exciting because we have not been able to do that for a very long time. And for those who have listened to the podcast, you know that there were times through our own renovation that we had to really decrease the amount that we were setting aside. And overall, I feel like to some degree, we've gotten a little bit of a late start in that neither my or Eric's jobs ever have provided us with like 401k plans. So, even in our 20s, we were not investing. And so we really haven't begun until we've been in our 30s. So it's been of interest to me to put as much aside as I can, but sometimes the money we earn monthly just doesn't allow for an increase. However, Eric finally got a raise recently, and that was very exciting. And the first thing that I did, like the day that that check went
Mhm.
through, was to increase automatic withdrawals, like the amount that I'm putting into our retirement investing, our Roth IRAs every month. And it's a little scary because it's the most money that we've put into those accounts before. But I did the math. I double and triple checked the math that we can do that. And we still are not going to be spending above what we bring in monthly. So it was, yeah, really great to be able to take that opportunity to see that increase. And rather than inflate our living,
Mhm.
inflate our retirement investing.
Nice. So are you where you want to be with your investing, or do you have like a place where you want to be and you're working up to that?
Right now, this feels really good. I think we will be super close to maxing out our Roth IRAs.
Nice.
So it will be something that I can look at towards I wanted to give myself, I didn't totally max them out, even though we do have a little bit extra cushion, but I wanted to kind of make sure that this rhythm works for us with the amount that we're putting aside. But yeah, I will reevaluate that after a couple of months of seeing, all right, how are we allocating this money? Did my math, and then the goal this year would be to max out the Roth IRAs. I do think we're going to be able to do that.
Nice. Oof,
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
you started earlier than we
Mhm.
did, and you are in a better position for retirement than we are at this stage. So I'm still playing catch up with you.
Yeah. But it still feels uncomfortable to like take this season
Yeah.
to slow down.
Yeah.
But it's good. We'll get back there.
I think these seasons are necessary, especially for those of us who are so aware of our money and where
Mhm.
it's going, to be able to identify what is enough and even to be able to just slow down. It's uncomfortable, but I think if we're allowing ourselves to ebb and flow with those seasons, we're going to be better off long term.
Yeah. So again, definitely follow Weekly Money Move on Instagram and you will get a new money move tomorrow to do
And
for the
some
week.
fun videos
Yes.
explaining the money move more in depth.
Tired of spending hours hunting for deals that aren't really deals?
That's why we use Brad's Deals. They are a free site where real people find real discounts on over 4,000 trusted stores.
AI has not mastered the art of keeping up with the ever-changing deal landscape. That's why the team at Brad's Deals are all humans. Users can also set up deal alerts for specific products or categories and get notified when relevant deals are posted.
From laptops and sneakers to kitchen gadgets and even travel, Brad's Deals curates the best deals available daily. No coupon clipping required.
Just join their free email list, get vetted deals sent to your inbox, and boom, done. No sketchy third-party sellers.
Ready to stop overpaying and start stacking savings on the things you were already planning to buy?
Click the link in the description. It's free and your wallet will thank you.
Meal plans.
Meal plan time.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you cook this week,
All right.
Jen?
So I have been getting more kind of pre-made meats and stuff from Costco.
Okay.
Just I'm going like all my meals need to be emergency meals. So we have a 15 emergency meal like recipe book that we will link to in the description. It's free and it is kind of been my go-to recently. I feel like every meal I make is an emergency meal.
There are some great meal
Mhm.
ideas on there
Yes.
with everything that you probably already have on hand.
Yeah.
It's super inspiring.
So one of those was I did a pasta bolognese. I had an Amy's or Amy Lou Italian chicken crumbles.
Mm.
They were so good. I put them in a jar marinara, those crumbles, and some pasta. I also had some leftover chicken meatballs in the fridge.
Mm.
So I cut those up and I also put them in there.
Yum.
It was great
Yeah.
and so easy. So I got to utilize some leftovers. and it was already like pre-cooked chicken crumbles. So I literally just had to heat them up. It was so nice. I also did, so this one was a fail, but I'm going to share it.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you why. It's not the recipe's fault. So a Cajun shrimp bake. I really wanted to do something jambalaya-y, and I should have just done a jambalaya recipe. But again, I was looking for something quick, an emergency meal-ish. So I wanted to do a bake, and I did it. And Travis hates seafood, and it made the whole house smell like shrimp. And then it made the fridge smell like shrimp to the point, and then I heated up leftovers once, and it made the house smell. He could not. So I actually had to throw the remaining leftovers away because there is a rule here at our office that you also cannot microwave things. I was like, there's nowhere I can eat this. So I know.
Was it tasting okay?
It was all right. It was not what I wanted either. So I didn't feel bad about throwing away the last leftovers.
That is the tough thing about making fish, and certain types of fish are really going to stink up the place sometimes. So whenever Eric's parents come in town, we'll do a crab night where we do the frozen crab from Costco. You can get a bag of just crab legs for like $17 to $20. It'll feed like 3 or 4 people. But I will use my hot plate that I use during renovations out on my porch. And I'll boil the crab legs on the hot plate outside so that it doesn't smell up the house, because it can be bad.
I think if I did shrimp again, I would do them on the grill.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So, yeah. So there's that.
Okay.
And then the last one was Big Mac bowls. I love to do like burger salads. So this was just another variation. This is a burger salad, essentially. You don't have to put it on lettuce, but
yeah.
So the only thing I changed up was I didn't add onion because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have cheese, so I didn't add cheese. But everything else was the same, and I do put ketchup in the dressing.
Yeah, you do.
Love ketchup.
I do love ketchup. I'm learning. I've got a sick obsession.
Yeah.
When I have ketchup, I have a lot of it.
Yeah. So if you like Big Macs, this is a good one.
I've been hearing a lot of people do burger bowls. I've never tried it before, but I mean, it's anything in a bowl.
Right.
Fun.
It's very easy.
Yeah. Is it lettuce heavy? Like a ton of lettuce, and then you put
your
burger
do
toppings?
As much lettuce as you want. You can have a lettuce heavy bowl or a toppings heavy bowl. There is no rule that your salad has to be a lot of lettuce. It can be a little bit of lettuce and a lot of toppings.
Yeah. Wow. Choose your own adventure.
You get to choose your salad adventure.
Okay.
Okay.
Friends, last week I told you all that I was going to share Linda, my mother-in-law. She's like a special guest here.
Linda.
Yes. In spirit, always. That she had made these Italian ricotta cookies for us that were absolutely to die for. I am salivating thinking of them right now, looking at these pictures of these cookies. I want them right now. Can't have them.
I want them to be the cookie I am known for, like birthdays, holidays, cookie exchanges. I want to
make these.
Yeah.
So there's the recipe for them in the show notes, that you can make your own Italian ricotta cookies. They are good without the glaze. They are good with the glaze. You don't have to have sprinkles on them. They make them look cool, but if you don't already have them in your house, I skip them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, then I also made Asian lettuce wraps. So I traveled to Ohio this past week to visit my sister and her 4 children. So while there, I helped to make a couple of meals. And we wanted it to be something that was super easy as well. And of course, that the kids will eat. Thankfully, her kids are good eaters. But we made these. I will say we didn't end up doing them in lettuce. We just did them over rice. So just depending on what you have on hand, know that you could put them into, bib lettuce wraps or throw it over rice. It'll still be real good. And then the other recipe for a quinoa salad, it's a cold quinoa salad. My sister had actually made ahead of time, but it was really good. So I wanted to share it with you all because it has parsley in it. I'm also a sucker for parsley. I think it's so, so good. And what she had done, and she says this is her go-to, especially when she has guests in town, is just makes a big old batch of this stuff because it can be a dinner one night. If you happen to grill chicken, you can put some grilled chicken over top of it. It can be lunch the next day. It can be dinner the next night. If you make a big old batch, you can have it warm or cold, however you like it. So I thought that one was a really good one. If you've got some time to prep, this is something that can be good for, a couple of days, whether as the main dish or a side dish. It's fun.
It looks delicious.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our listener question. So this person, we don't have a name attached
We have
to it.
fix the entry form to include names.
Yeah.
We will do that eventually.
This is from anonymous listener who we love this question. They asked, what was that Japanese budget you guys did an episode on a while ago?
You mean this episode?
Ooh. There it is.
There it is. So we'll also link to it, but so it's called Kakeibo. People pronounce it a different way. Kakeibo.
Kakeibo, yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
We do not speak Japanese. So.
The internet says Kakeibo, and then I have also been corrected on social media. So you say it how you want, but the important thing is that it roughly translates to household financial ledger. And it was created by a Japanese journalist in 1904. And it is a way of budget journaling that requires physical handwriting. So literally you're getting a journal and writing transactions, manually inputting, and you're answering questions about them. So there isn't any scientific research that says this is a better budgeting method than anything else, but it is a really good checkpoint. Maybe you want to use it as a financial goal. You want to do this for a month, 30 days. That would be a really good financial goal that would help with surely making a lot of other goals easier or unnecessary in the future. But so the key things that differentiate Kakeibo from a traditional budget, it's very mindfulness-based. So writing down everything by hand makes you acutely aware of your spending, so you're more intentional about it. It emphasizes simplicity. So unlike apps or budget spreadsheets, we have a great budget spreadsheet, but it is very robust. This emphasizes simplicity, and it is just pen and paper, no grid, lines, just journaling. And then it focuses and emphasizes reflection. So it emphasizes, we'll go through the questions. There's 4 questions that you have to ask to reflect. And it emphasizes reviewing your spending habits so that you can improve your financial discipline over time.
So real talk, you know that I love my spreadsheet, right? I don't typically use an app for budgeting. I've always said I use a spreadsheet, but I also have a confession to make. I do this. I didn't totally know that I was doing this, but I will first write down all of my transactions with pen and paper. And then I tally them up and then I put the totals into the spreadsheet.
Wow, you are doing the most.
I am doing
We're complete opposites because I do nothing.
Yeah.
And I just track the transactions as they automatically come up. Monarch has a widget for your phone.
Yeah.
So I can see the transactions without going into the app. It's my favorite part of the app.
Yeah.
And then you're writing them down, then putting them on a spreadsheet.
I am doing too much. I think I enjoy looking at the numbers more than I should. So I like having those different steps to it. But to this method, I find a lot of usefulness and benefit in comparing, looking at it, and writing it down.
Mm.
I am doing double work. I get that, but there is something to this method. So if you want to try it out, you don't have to do it for years and years like I have. But if you even want to do it for a month or two or longer, here's what you got to do. Get a notebook. I actually use my planner because I also still have a pen and paper planner.
I
No
do
one's
too.
shocked.
Yeah, I actually do like a pen and paper planner.
Yeah, it drives Eric wild because he's like, did you know that you can put this all digital? Like, I don't want that. I like the simple way.
Mhm.
So in my planner, I've got enough pages in the back of it that I can be essentially journaling my transactions within the planner. So I don't have to have multiple notebooks. It's all in one,
Mhm.
everything that I need. You choose what's right for you, get a notebook. Then you're going to want to calculate your monthly income and your fixed expenses. So going through seeing what do I typically bring in monthly, writing that number down, and then considering what are all of the expenses that I'm kind of obligated to be paying. So your utilities, your phone bill, your internet, your housing, your transportation, those types of things. And figuring out then from there, kind of how much are those fixed expenses taking from your income every month? And based on that number, coming up with a savings goal. What do you want to be able to set aside towards an emergency fund or towards debt payoff while you are trying out this Kakeibo method of budgeting? And then this is one of my favorite parts, just another way of looking at a budgeting method. You want to list out different spending categories beyond your fixed expenses. So they suggest these 4 categories.
I love this.
This is
so
fun.
simple. If you're starting a budget, whatever kind of budget, I think these are the ones. These are the only categories to start with.
Yeah. Needs, wants, culture, and unexpected, which again, eventually you could decide you like other categories, but this is a really great place to start. I found culture to be the most unique
Mhm.
one from, needs and wants. So culture is any spending on cultural activities like books, museum fees, concert tickets, TV streaming services. Of course, needs being essentials. So that would be your fixed expenses. That can fall under that category. Loan payments, car payments, even groceries. Wants being your enjoyable but not totally necessary categories. And then if anything came up that was unexpected, that just isn't in the budget, maybe previously miscellaneous type things, medical bills, home repairs, that kind of thing.
Yes, I love. I think we get too complicated when we're talking about spending plans in the weekly money move in a few weeks. We'll dive more into this, but we get very granular in categories on budgets,
Mhm.
and it can really trip you up. When you go broader, you have more space to feel freedom in your budget. So I love
Mhm.
this. And so then you track your spending, categorize it, and you ask reflection questions
Mhm.
on each of your transactions. And so this is where this becomes kind of like a daily activity. So the 4 questions you're asking pretty much on a daily basis are: how much money do you have? How much would you like to save? How much money are you spending, and how can you improve? So you're not asking them on each transaction, but you're asking them about your budget daily. So that is a really great way to stay on top of your finances, to stay on top of your financial goal, and to stay on top of your progress on your getting to the goal, because anybody can have a goal, right?
Mhm.
But if you're not taking the actions that align with achieving that goal, which is why we say you need to pick a life goal and choose a financial goal that aligns with that and doesn't compete with it, because you want your actions to support the financial goal.
I am only tracking my expenses every 2 weeks, but I believe that this method is talking about kind of daily tracking. So as you're spending, you are also then handwriting down that expense, categorizing it so you can kind of see real time, what categories am I spending the most on? How am I feeling about that? What might need to shift? So that daily pulse doesn't necessarily need to be something that we do for forever.
Hmm.
But again, one of these practices that might be a little more extreme than what we're used to, but might be able to really help us hone in on some of these savings or investing or debt payoff goals that we may have.
Yeah, I don't think this is a long-term budgeting method, but for sure, a month, a couple of months, if you want to get in touch with your budgeting categories, your spending, your habits, your financial goal, this is such a clutch tool,
Hmm.
like to integrate into what you're doing financially already.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
And if you want more on kind of how do I hone in my budget and what should I be considering, check out this video.